After you've gone through people that you know and referrals from friends or family, where do you look next? How do you continue to find new customers? Well, you simply go online and find businesses that need websites. You could order a list of local businesses to call on from a large database supplier such as InfoUSA, and I've done that in the past, but I've found three problems with doing this. One, you still have to research each business before you call, so you don't really save any time by ordering the list. Two, these lists cost money, which you don't need to spend right now, because I'll show you a better way here shortly. And the third problem is, these contacts seem to be less receptive. I believe the reason they're less receptive is because these database suppliers, they sell these lists to a lot of other sales and telemarketing companies. So the local businesses are being bombarded with all kinds of sales calls from different companies. This makes them frustrated and less likely to speak with anyone that calls with an offer or anyone trying to set any kind of appointment. So I would avoid buying a list. In my business, I've found a better way for finding new clients. So let's walk through it step by step. The first step is you go to yp.com and enter a business category in your local area. Let's say we're going to call on local heating and air companies. So we type that in and it returns a list of local heating and air companies. Now the first few are going to be companies that have paid ads with yp.com. Usually these are large chain companies and you don't want to call on large chains at this point. You don't want to be calling on any local branches or franchises either. You're looking for locally owned businesses. You want businesses where you can talk to the owner, not a branch manager. So we're going to skip the ads and go down to the regular listings. Now I've already picked out a few here that I want to show you specifically, so those are the ones we're going to look at. The first one we're going to click on here is called Roberts Heating and Air. So we see a little bit of information about the company here, but when we visit the website, we kind of browse through the website a little bit and we see that it's a fairly decent website. When you come across a website like this, you basically want to move on to the next one because they've got a pretty good website and it's going to be hard for you to call them to sell them on a new website because at this point, they really don't need it. They're set up pretty good. Everything seems to work properly. So we'll move on to the next one. The next one we're going to look at is Chambers Plumbing and Heating. Now, when you click on the link to visit their website, it basically takes you to a page that has an error message. So we see that there's a problem here. But we want to be sure if the problem is with the website or if the problem is with the link that's in yp.com. So what we do is we take the name of the company, Chambers Plumbing and Heating, and we're going to plug it into Google and do a search and see what we come up with. So you can see that from our Google search, they actually do have a website that is working. However, when we look at the website, you can see that it's a dated website. It's not very modern. It's not very up to date. It just doesn't look very well. And so as you browse around a little bit, you can see if there's any broken links or if there's any other problems with the website. You can see right here in the navigation that when you hover over the links, the image behind the links is broken. So there are definitely some things that you could do to make this site better for the client or even rebuild this site. So this is one that we would definitely want to call on. This next one is called Done Right HVAC. So here again, we're going to do a Google search to see if they come up. After we've done our Google search, you can see that they do not even have a website. So with them not having a website, we definitely want to call them to see if we can build a website for them. So before we make the call, we want to have enough information to kind of know what we're talking about. So we can look at their website and we can see what is the reason for us giving them a call. Do they need a new website because they don't have one? Or do they need a better website? Are there certain things in their website that are broken? Are there links that are not working? Are there pages that don't work? Once you have all this information, then you're ready to call the client. Except for one more thing, you definitely want to know who the person is that you need to speak with. Now, you won't always be able to find this information, but almost always you can. And I'll show you an easy way to find that. So let's say, for example, we're going to call this Done Right HVAC. Now, obviously, we don't know who the owner is. They don't have a website that we can research to try and find that. So one of the best places to go to find out who is the owner of a business is Manta. So here we can go to Manta, do a search for the business, and when it comes up, you just click on it, and 9 out of 10 times, Manta will give you the name of the main contact for that company. So now you know who you need to speak with whenever you call them. Well, you may be wondering, why do we not use Manta from the start? Why don't we not do a business search in Manta since they already have the names available for us? Well, the problem is Manta is one of these huge data companies and they have a lot of data that they pull together to create their site, to give you all of this information. But they're not very good at keeping it updated. I have tried in the past to do my searches through Manta rather than going through YP. And what I found that is probably about half of the people that I called, they were not even in business anymore. So Manta does not do a good job of keeping their data up to date, but YP does. So that's why I go through YP first. And I only use Manta if I need to find out the name of the owner. So as you're going through these websites and you're researching potential clients, you're trying to find things that you can do to make their websites work better for them, or things that are broken that need to be repaired. Or if they don't even have a website, you need to build one for them. These are the things you're looking for. One other thing I wanted to show you real quick though is a website built in Flash. Now I don't even know if this is an actual business or not. It almost seems like a joke. But here you can see this website and the whole thing is built with Flash. The reason I'm showing you this is because a few years back, people used to build websites with Flash all the time because they were really cool and animated and you could hover over links that would make sounds, things like that. So a lot of websites were built with Flash. The problem with this is that a lot of devices no longer support Flash. So I really like it when I find a website that's using Flash because I know I have a selling point there. I know that if you try to pull that website up on an iPhone or an iPad, that you're not going to see anything but a blank page. Or another thing you might run into is a website that's designed with HTML, but there'll be certain portions of it that are designed with Flash. Like there'll be a little header that has Flash, or the menu items will have Flash. You have the same issue on those devices. When you open up that website, you'll see the website, but you may not see the menu. If it was built in Flash, it's not going to show up at all. So Flash gives you a really good selling point simply because it doesn't work on all devices. Now, as you're going through and you're researching these companies, you're trying to find the ones that you're going to call on. You want to do this as quickly as possible so that you can spend as much time as possible on the phone. The more calls you make, the more appointments you set. And the more appointments you set, the more sales you make. So research each client as quickly as possible so that you can get back on the phone.